So good morning again, this time amplified, the sound. Shall we start with some meditation? Yeah? Okay. So please get into a comfortable meditation position. Particularly emphasizing having a straight back means not slouching over, but also the shoulders, not hunched, so you can roll them up and back, opening the chest, allowing the lungs to expand fully. Keeping the eyes slightly open, with the chin gently tucked into the neck, elongating the back of the neck. Then taking a moment to be aware of the entire body, scanning from head to toe, trying to identify any pockets of tension, and then releasing that tension, particularly in the facial muscles. Then through the shoulders, all the way down to the toes. Okay, so then after we've gotten into a disciplined yet relaxed meditation posture, let's focus our awareness again in the body. And here we can try to identify how the breath is manifesting as physical sensations in the body. So on the first day, we focused on the rising and falling of the abdomen. Then yesterday, we focused on the area in the nostril area, zone. So today, just, don't confine yourself, but just anywhere that the breath is manifesting itself. It can be either of those places, it can be in the chest, but just to become aware of the sensations in the body as we inhale and exhale. Not engaging with any other internal or external distractions. Trying to remain focused on the breath. But when there are other appearances to the mind, just not engaging them and therefore letting them pass away in the next moment. Okay, so we'll continue like this for 5 more minutes. So now let's take a moment to adjust our motivation. So please think that the purpose of my life is to benefit all sentient beings. And in particular, in order that I may be able to lead all sentient beings to be free from the oceans of samsaric suffering and place them in the state of perfect and complete enlightenment, I myself must first achieve the state of enlightenment. Therefore, I need to learn about the various practices that lead to enlightenment. And therefore, I've come to this session here today on the Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra. And please think that due to whatever positive energy, merits that we create in our time here together, by engaging in listening, reflecting, and meditating on the teachings, may that only become the cause for all sentient beings, vast as the vastness of space, to quickly be free from all their suffering and abide in a state of happiness, of full enlightenment forever. Okay. So no more review. Okay? It's been over 1.5 sessions on review. Actually, it's kind of not true. Let's just continue where we left off, right? Okay, I'm seeing some blank looks. For the benefit of those who didn't come, okay? We're just going to jump really quick, okay? So we're in the middle of teaching this text, the Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, right? Or yes. So, Bodhisattva is a person who is not yet a Buddha, yet she has the mind of Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the mind that aspires for, wishes to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And Bodhisattva is the one who has that mind in a uncontrived manner. What we did at the end of our meditation, when I adjusted our motivation, we hopefully all generated a contrived form of bodhicitta, right? Where we said, okay, I must attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, therefore I must engage in the practices, right? And do the practices, right? So remember last night when I said these two verses are the entire encapsulation of Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, right? All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions, please pay attention to me, just as all the Buddhas of the past generated the mind of enlightenment and then successively followed in the practices. So I too will generate the mind of enlightenment and follow in the practices. Okay? So that is the verses by which you can take the Bodhisattva vows. Understand? Vowing to follow in the footsteps of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the past and thereby engage in the trainings. Yes? Okay. So anyway, contrived bodhicitta is, like we did, with some manner of reflection, trying to cause that mind arise, in your hearts. Then, just as we were talking about with our training, with our practice, every time we do something, it becomes easier to do in the future. So we keep bringing to mind with a lot of effort this mind of bodhicitta, or compassion, or wisdom, whatever we're trying to cultivate. We bring it up again and again, and then at a certain point, after it becomes more and more natural, stronger, easier to cultivate, we get an uncontrived form of bodhicitta, where it's arising naturally and spontaneously. Then those ones with the uncontrived bodhicitta, who are not yet Buddhas, are what we call bodhisattvas. But just as we saw in the stanza, it's just as all the Buddhas of the past, gave rise to the mind of enlightenment, right? But then they don't stop there. Then they successively followed in the practices, trained in the practices, right? So, though the primary cause of enlightenment is to develop this mind aspiring for enlightenment, that alone is not sufficient. One needs to then accumulate the causes that lead to the attainment of enlightenment. And the main causes are what we call the two vast accumulations. Sambara, right? So the accumulation, and there's two, the accumulation of merits, sunam, punya, I think, and the accumulation of transcendental wisdom, or jnana, J with the N and the little thing over it. Yeah? You understand? Okay. So, those then are the two accumulations, which are the two primary causes of enlightenment. But this text, right, Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life, we just describe what a bodhisattva is, right? And then, as I mentioned, actually when we say Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, or in Tibetan, Janchi Senpe Chupa La Jupa, the more literal translation is, Chupa is conduct or deeds, La Jupa means like engaging in, yes? So, more literal translation is, engaging in the Bodhisattva's conduct, engaging in the Bodhisattva's deeds. Who's this? Oh. Namaste. Okay? So engaging in the Bodhisattva's conduct. So what is the Bodhisattva's conduct?
Six perfections.
Yes. So in general, the Bodhisattva has to accumulate these two vast accumulations of merit and transcendental wisdom. But how they actually do that then, it's split into what we are calling the six perfections. Okay? Generosity, ethical discipline, patience. Okay? Enthusiastic perseverance, meditation, and wisdom. So we're now on the third of the six perfections in this text, the perfection of patience, which in Tibetan is Yurgen?
Zopa.
Is your name Yurgen? Yes, Zopa, right? There's 3 Yurgens in here. Okay. Zopa. Okay? So Jürgen's an old young friend of mine. We have the same teacher, and he just was studying Tibetan in Nepal for how long? 2 months. Come on. You also learned Dharma vocabulary or just kolokula?
Mostly kolokula.
Okay. Do you know the 6 perfections in Tibetan? Okay. Jinpa, Sutran, Supa, Sundru, Sampe, Sherab. So also if you know some Tibetans, you'll hear a lot of those, their people become people's names. It's really nice, you know, all when you meet a Tibetan, all their names are very meaningful, you know, have a lot of meaning, right? Wangdu. Yes, you guys know what that means? You know Wangdu? You should ask, oh, what does your name mean? You guys should know Wang though, right? Shanti, you know what Wang is?
Initiation.
Okay, yes, it's initiation. But literally, right? Anyway. Okay, forget it. This is not a Tibetan class. Okay, so we're on the third of the six perfections, Zupa. And we're saying the problem of when we have a Tibetan word that's then translated into English, they have to pick an English word that doesn't necessarily perfectly coincide in terms of connotations of the Tibetan word. So they've chosen patience. Other translations you'll see of the word Zupa is forbearance. Yeah. What else do you see? Tolerance sometimes. Okay. But don't get caught up in that word patience. What we're actually talking about is here on this page. What patience is, and this is taken from a teaching on the patience chapter of Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra by His Holiness the Dalai Lama that has then been published in a book called Healing Anger. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the extensive commentaries that you all read, right? Sorry. That you are reading, and so this is also one for studying this chapter, Healing Anger. Okay? So, what patience is a resolute response against adversity stemming from a subtle temperament, unperturbed by either external or internal disturbance. Okay? So that's what patience is. So it's more than just what we normally think about being patient. It means like being able to wait for something, or wait in traffic. You know, something like this, waiting. So it's not quite like that. It's more, much more than that. Okay. So now, where we are in the text. Okay? So first, now if you just look at this, the outlines, what we've already covered is, you know, at the beginning of this chapter, there's the disadvantages of anger, and then we reflected on the benefits of patience, and then there's actual outline B, engaging the mind in the methods for accomplishing patience. So then, that has also the subheading of arresting the causes of anger. Arresting the causes of anger. Okay, so here, it's not that we, you know, put it into jail. It just means to stop, you know, stopping the causes of anger. Okay? So, what were we saying? The main cause of anger is the unhappy mind, right? And the mind becomes unhappy when it doesn't get what it wants, or it meets with things that it doesn't want, right? So then we were saying that the actual main practice here, you know, stanza 7, if you're on page 54, having found this fuel of mental unhappiness in the prevention of what I wish for and in doing what I do not want, hatred increases then destroys me. Okay? So then the main practice is laid out in stanza 9. Whatever befalls me, I shall not disturb my mental joy. For having been made unhappy, I shall not accomplish what I wish, and my wishes will decline. Right? So this is, you know, when we fast forward to the kind of end state that we want to achieve. And that basically is to, whatever befalls us, be it good conditions, bad conditions, to have it not, disturb our mind. Yeah? Okay. So now we're on outline D. Having examined in detail the causes that give rise to anger, making effort to abandon them. So then first, a general presentation of the divisions of anger in terms of objects that give rise to anger. Okay? So, as I mentioned yesterday, we are taking a multifaceted approach to study this text. So, we have the root text, Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra. Okay, I'm also consulting the Tibetan commentary by Geshe. Okay, there's a Tibetan version there. That couple didn't come today. Did you know them? You just met them yesterday. Oh, they're from Mumbai. But do they now live in Bangalore? Not bad. Just an aside. But Shanti, remember we used to have all those the students, Tibetan students, they would come occasionally?
Yeah, nursing students.
Yeah, no? There's too many sick people. There's no time for the dharma. What happened? Huh? Do you know this?
Yeah, sort of realize that. I asked one, they say they don't want to study Venerable. I don't say bad thing about Tibetan, but they don't want to study.
You must be occupied with the assignments, college assignments.
They come on special days, but usually.
I'll tell you something. This is what we were talking about yesterday. Every day is a special day when you have this precious human rebirth. Okay, anyway, I'm going to get into, it's like I mentioned this before, I joked about this before, but down at Sera, there's Sera is the monastic university where I'm studying. And so there's a disciplinarian, and so there's all these, pujas, debates, different things we have to attend. And then sometimes when the monks, it's kind of so-so attendance, not everyone shows up. And sometimes the disciplinarian, he'll scold, but he's scolding the people that didn't come. But the people who are listening to it is the people who came. So it's like, it's like not really serving the purpose, So instead of doing that, then, the better thing is to, of course, praise the people who've come. So, I'll do that with you guys. It's very good that you've come. We're all busy, right? But the question is, we're busy doing what? Are we busy? This is why I said this all 3 days. I say this every time. And by the way, remember, stanza 4 of this whole text, right? Leisure and endowment are very hard to find. And since they accomplish what is meaningful for humanity, if I do not take advantage of them now, how will such a perfect opportunity come about again? You understand? So, as I was saying, this is the main body of the text, actually. This is the first thing that Shantideva has us reflect on. This is the very, or there's even a better one later. Same thing, where it says, using this boat of a human body, use it to cross the great river of pain. This type of boat will not come again easily, There's no time for sleep, you fool. Seriously. So I think I mentioned it, but you know, in my room, I had that quotation. You know, you sleep on your right side, right? My bed used to be right against the wall, so I had that quotation right here. So when I open my eyes in the morning, you know, instead of getting snooze, you get up right away. Of course, now I move my bed across the room, so now I'm more lazy. But I think it's very good, right when we wake up in the morning, you know, to reflect how lucky we are we didn't die last night, and then to reflect in this way. Wow, and why, okay, oh, great, I didn't die. Why? Because we still have this precious opportunity to practice Dharma. You know? Then, you know, you snooze, you lose, right? You see, oh man. On my phone, it's very, very strange, you know. You have a 9, my snooze is 9 minutes, right? Huh? Yes? If you really think about it, in 9 minutes, how much Dharma you can practice? 9 minutes. Right? So instead of even if you just, you know, instead of that 9 minutes, practice Dharma, you could recite 4 Heart Sutra, probably Heart Sutra 3 times. You know? Medicine Buddha Mantra, 4 malas. Meditate on emptiness. Okay. Okay, I have a confession. Should I confess? Or that should be our secret? I'm very happy you came. I noticed these 2 seats are empty. And I was saying, I'm going to confess. Where is that Tibetan couple? Where are they today? I thought you went out for brunch. Then we were also talking, there used to be all these nursing students, Tibetans. Many of them would come. Now I don't see them anymore. So I was wondering, where are they? Maybe they've all attained enlightenment. Then they don't have to come anymore.
They might be walking in samsara.
That's my hypothesis too. Yeah, it's very good. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, this is it, right? This is the best opportunity. This is the best opportunity we're going to get to practice Dharma. You know, it's not going to get better in a few years. It's not going to get better in our next life. And so much of our life is already gone. Right? So from now on, you know, have to make that firm determination every day, you know, especially when we wake up, to use our life in the best way. Yeah. And how's the best way to use our life? This book explains, this. So just anything in here. Do anything in here, it's good. Okay. So what I was saying, why I started talking about you, because I saw the Geshe Je commentary on your table, and then I noticed you were here, so I was like, oh, where are they? Where are they? But what I was saying is, we're using different texts. We have this, okay? We have the Geshe Je commentary, which I'm referring to. We have the outlines from the Geshe Je commentary. Then we have the outlines from Lamrim Chenmo. Then we have the actual Lamrim Chenmo. Yes? And then we have the commentary by His Holiness the Dalai Lama on the patience chapter of Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, which is in a book called Healing Anger. Okay. Why am I bringing all this up? Because I'm about to switch. We have now the general presentation of the divisions of anger in terms of the objects that give rise to anger. Okay? So in general, when we look in Lamrim Chenmo, there, Lama Tsongkhapa is dividing the actual practice of zutta, of patience, into three. Okay? So there is developing the patience of disregarding harm done to you, developing the patience of accepting suffering, and developing the patience of certitude of the teachings. Certitude? Yes. Why don't they just say certainty? Okay. You with me? So now, then, developing the patience of disregarding harm done to you, then there is stopping patience with those who harm you. Okay? So, then, this follows the Bodhisattvacharyāvatāra, these outlines, right? Right? So you see how they dovetail? Arresting fury towards those who wrong you. Being patient with those who would create suffering for you. Okay? And then cultivating the patience that accepts suffering. Okay? Alright. So, 12. Stanza 12, now we're back on page 55. Yeah? You guys can jump around like this? It's okay? Good. So, first we didn't talk about 11. So 11 is the general presentation of the divisions of anger in terms of the objects that give rise to anger. Okay. So, this is kind of a summary at first. For myself and for my friends, I want no suffering, no disrespect, no harsh words, and nothing unpleasant. But for my enemies, it is the opposite. Right? So, by the way, right, this very thought is another reason why, they say anger, there's no sin, there's no negativity like anger. You understand? Because here, especially when we talk in the Bodhisattva context, right, where the Bodhisattva is the one who has to have Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the wish to liberate all sentient beings from suffering and place them in the highest state of happiness, right? Okay, so now, it should be noted, we didn't talk about this weekend, but, in the actual way to cultivate the mind of bodhicitta, right, there's the two instructions to do that. There's what we call the 7-point cause and effect instructions, yeah, where basically you reflect all sentient beings in your mother or your father, your loved one, right? You recall their kindness, you wish to repay their kindness. Then thinking in that way, you get a kind of, they call it Yiyong Jamba. Here again, to spend lesson for you. Yiyong Jamba. Yeah, Jamba in general is love. Yidong is like a attraction, attractive. So Yiyong Jamba means just having a kind of affectionate mind, in general, Jamba, love, is like a wish that others have happiness, right? But here the Yiyong Jamba is more of like just the feeling a mother gets looking at her child, a kind of, heartwarming, oh, I care about what happens to this person. Okay? Then is a mind of compassion that wishes that others be free from suffering. But just that wish, oh, may beings be free from suffering, is not enough. You go and take personal responsibility. Okay? Laksam Ling, yeah? Or the extraordinary aspiration, where you don't just say, may they be free from suffering, but you say, I myself will free them from suffering. Okay? What step are we at? 6. Then, you notice, in my current state, although it's my responsibility to free sentient beings from suffering, in my current state, I'm completely powerless to do so. Right? Because I'm still suffering. I'm still deluded. I can't even, free myself from suffering. Or to put it in a more poetic way, I'm still drowning in the ocean of samsara. So if I'm drowning, you're drowning too, I try to save you, we both drown. Right? So, what needs to then be done? In my current situation, I'm pretty much powerless to do anything in a deep way to free others from suffering. But if I were able to develop my qualities to their fullest potential and abandon all faults of the mind, then I could really do something. Okay? So then we were saying yesterday, what is that state that's characterized by the full development of all positive qualities and the complete eradication of all negativities and faults? Sangye. Sangye, or Buddha. More Tibetan lessons for you. Right? So Sang is the purification, Ge is the increase. Purification of all bad faults, increase of all good qualities. That is Buddha. That is all of your potential to achieve. Why? Because you have a mind. You understand? Because you have a mind that is, not inherently stained by the faults. Those faults can be removed. And it can be developed. That state of development to the highest potential is the state of enlightenment. You understand? Okay. So, anyway. 7-point cause and effect instructions. Okay? Later, the other way, just briefly, is the equalizing and exchanging self for others, where instead of, thinking of sentient beings as being near, dear, and lovable because they've been our mothers, it's instead just thinking, well, all sentient beings don't want suffering and want happiness. And just by that reason, well, then you think of the flip side, where you say, like Shantideva says here, right? All the happiness in the world has come, all the suffering in the world has come from the thought of wanting happiness for oneself, and whatever goodness there exists in the world comes from the thought of wishing to benefit others. So, Actually, all sentient beings are equal in not wanting suffering and wanting happiness. When we look at our own activities, what we do, we are spending an insane amount of effort, time, energy, just going after the happiness and well-being of how many sentient beings? One. Right? And what has that gotten us? Actually, nothing but suffering. So therefore also Shantideva says, there's no need for many words. Right? Childish beings work only for their own benefit, while the Buddhas work only for the benefit of the others. And look at the difference between the two. Right? This is why, His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, if you're going to be selfish, be smart selfish. You understand? Smart selfish actually means cherishing others. Okay? So in this equalizing and exchanging self for others, the point is you understand the drawbacks of cherishing yourself. Means putting yourself above all other sentient beings who are infinite in number. And then rather you see the benefits of cherishing others. Therefore you make the resolution to, equalizing and exchanging self for others means to exchange our, exaggerated preoccupation with our own interests, right? Where we take care of one and ignore the many, and then exchange that. And instead, ignore the one and take care of the many. And the ultimate way to do that is what we were saying, right? The only way I can really take care of all sentient beings is if I attain enlightenment. Therefore, I'm going to do that. See? So those two means of generating bodhicitta arrive at the same point. The same point being, first the recognition in my current state, I can't do much to benefit others, therefore I need to attain enlightenment, therefore I'm going to do it. But the difference is in, rather, we care about ourselves so much and others so little, right? So the first way, equalizing, 7-point cause and effect instructions, by reflecting on all sentient beings that have been our mothers, we boost them up, yeah? The other way, we reflect on the faults of self-cherishing, so we also bring ourselves down, right? Huh?
So that isn't good, right? Getting down to there.
Well, no. So, I'm just saying on a relative level, right? That is good, because we're too puffed up. I mean, actually, what we're also doing in reflecting on the benefit of others, we are, lifting our concern from them. But I'm saying, as long, forget where it is, but as long as we are holding ourselves to be higher, more important than all other sentient beings, that's a fault. That's something to be abandoned on the path. Because it's not in accord with reality, right? I mean, especially there's one exercise that you do in the chapter on meditation where you actually do this equalizing and exchanging self for others, where you think of like a third-party judge, and you say, on the one side there's one being, on the other side there's infinite beings. Who's more important? The many. But then if then you take off the mask and the person on the one is you, then that one's so much more important. It's completely wrong. You can't assert that. You with me? So why am I talking about all this? Because in common to both of those methods for attaining bodhicitta, we have to first equalize the playing field, so to speak, right? Where now what we have is we have these very strong fixed categories of friend, enemy, stranger, right? So the friends, the close ones, as Shantideva says, for myself and for my friends, I want no suffering, no disrespect, no harsh words, nothing unpleasant. But for my enemies, it's just the opposite. Hello?
The last line.
Oh.
Somehow I'm not able to understand it.
Well, my enemies, it's the opposite. So, my enemies, I want them to have suffering. I want them to be disrespected. I want them to experience harsh words. And I want them to experience everything unpleasant. Hello? You understand?
Yeah, but I didn't get the context of
Yeah,
what he's
okay.
saying.
So this is the state where we are before we've trained our mind. Okay? Right? So for the untrained mind, right? We have these categories of friend, enemy, stranger. Okay? Remember, okay. Where we want to be is where we're talking about Bodhicitta. We want to develop a wish for all sentient beings to have ultimate happiness and no suffering. Okay? But where are we now? We have categories friend, enemy, stranger. So for some, our friends, yes, we want them to be happy, we want them to, have good things. Our enemies, we don't want that at all. Right? That's why we retaliate to people that provoke us. To people who criticize us, we criticize them back. Right? Our enemies, we want them to have suffering. And then for the vast majority vast majority of living beings, we don't care one way or another. It's not my problem. Right? Okay? So, seeing, where this is, general presentations of the divisions of anger, this mind of anger, right, is what is blocking us from the development of bodhicitta. Because as long as we have anger, we don't then have, love, compassion for all sentient beings. Because these enemies, we don't wish them to be free from suffering, we wish them to have suffering. Okay, now.
So here we need to transform our mind to see everyone's.
Yes. Okay. In general, you hear what she just said? Here we need to transform our mind. This is, any Dharma teaching you're coming to, that's what it's about. Because Dharma is just a method to transform the mind. Right? So, all the time we need to be transforming the mind. In this specific instance, when we talk about anger, yes, we have to transform the mind. Like Lamzo Rinpoche's bumper sticker. Very, very easy. No anger, no enemy. You understand? We tell this to our politicians. Okay? No anger, no enemy. Okay? So in general, sorry, I'm not being clear. Okay, I was trying to bring this in general, of course. Shantideva was talking about all these faults of anger at the beginning, okay, of the chapter. Now, I'm kind of emphasizing the main drawback in the eyes of a bodhisattva, right? For the bodhisattva, the main drawback to anger is as long as you have those, okay, remember, no anger, no enemy, okay? As long as we have these categories of friend, enemy, stranger, right? And especially these enemies, we don't have love, compassion for. That means no all sentient beings. All sentient beings are not the object of our compassion. That means no great compassion. Right? That means no bodhicitta. That means no bodhisattva. That means no enlightenment. Okay? So actually for a bodhisattva, that's the real problem with anger. Okay, all this other stuff, I'm gonna, destroy all my previously accumulated virtue. yeah, that's bad. But the worst actually for a bodhisattva is for them to cease from having bodhicitta. You understand? Shantideva talks about that too, right? Hello? Are we on the same page? Really?
I'm still not clear with this because even the idea of an enemy is a construct, right?
Yes.
So how do I know what today is a friend can be my tomorrow an enemy? So
Yes. Okay, remember. What you're saying is true, but you're talking like someone who's a little bit intelligent and has received the Dharma teaching. Okay? So sometimes what Shantideva is doing in this text, he's talking about like an ordinary, unenlightened view of the world. Right? So you ask our politicians that want to go to war, they're not talking, oh yeah, but tomorrow my friend can be an enemy and the enemy is like this, right? The unenlightened view is enemy equals bad, therefore I have to destroy. This is a wrong view that we're trying to overcome, right? So the unenlightened view, right? Someone who's never, come to a teaching or never thought intelligently about this, it has a very fixed view. Friend, good, enemy, bad. Most people, not my problem, right? So the Bodhisattva is thinking like just so you're thinking. Actually, what are these labels? Why am I calling this person a friend? Because they brought me samosas last week. But what about next week? Oh, that's all in flux. So, as Shantideva says in another part of the text, who is there really to be attached to? Oh, and this enemy. Why? Well, last week they called me like this. But that also is in flux. And by the way, if they really were 100% bad, then the Buddha would realize them as being 100% bad, right? But does the Buddha see them as 100% bad? No way. So there's no way to unravel these wrong views. Okay? So you understand? So Shantideva is not saying this is good, this is how we should act. In fact, just the opposite. But remember, right? Before we, we have to get the diagnosis of the situation as it is, right? We have to see how our minds are now, and then we see the drawbacks. We see that it's not in accord with reality, and then we can change. So that's what he's doing here. And just so you guys know, right? Shantideva was a great bodhisattva. So when he talks like this, he says, well, for me, for myself and my friends, I find no suffering, no disrespect. He's a bodhisattva. So he's not really like this. He's writing this in the kind of for me, so that we, when we read it, and we are not bodhisattvas, we think like this, and oh yes, for me and my friends. Yeah, that's me. You understand? So, in the other parts, Shantideva was talking about how he's so lazy, how, he's going to be reborn in the hells and all that. No, it's not. It's not really Shantideva. It's us. It's us. He's talking about us. But rather than saying, you, he's saying me. You understand?
He's telling the diagnosis of your mind.
In all of these stanzas,
For example, Bylakuppe said, right? He's giving you the diagnosis of your mind, which causes the state of the anger.
yeah, okay.
So, but in some phrases, he's mentioning just as it is.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah, you have to be a little bit intelligent to understand what's going on, right? So, you know, in this one, page 54, stanza 11, when he says, "For myself and for my friends, I want no suffering, no disrespect, no harsh words, and nothing unpleasant. But for my enemies, it's the opposite." Okay? So that's that. Okay? Then if you think like, if you look on page 21, for example, stanza 17. "May all those who say bad things to me or cause me any other harm, those who mock and insult me, have the fortune to fully awaken. May I be a protector for those who walk without one, a guide for all the travelers on the way. May I be a bridge, a boat, a ship for all those who wish to cross the water. May I be an island for those who seek one, a lamp for those desiring light. May I be a bed for those who want rest, and a slave for all those who want a slave." You understand? So that's what Shantideva really thinks like. You understand? Okay? So, am I not speaking your language? Hello? You guys understand? So I'm saying, use this one. Okay? Don't be so confused when you think, what the heck? Shantideva in chapter 2 is such a nice guy. Now in chapter 6 he's a... What happened? He degenerated. No. Okay? That morning when he started composing chapter 6, they didn't bring him his morning coffee on time, so he's in a bad mood. Don't think like this, okay?
Just a question. Like suppose I have some person around me, and
Yes.
because of my deeds or some habit, the person is not happy.
Yes.
Okay, so he becomes my enemy. Like he makes him my enemy. Means I'm not aware of what he is suffering because of my deeds, but he is unhappy inside.
Okay.
Right. So what can I do in that case? Because I'm not at all aware about that, but he makes himself my enemy. And I cannot always think about may I be a bridge to get him out, get him out of it. If I just think, it won't happen.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand your question. So there's someone, now you've done something, they didn't like it, now they view you as an enemy.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
You didn't mean to harm them,
Yeah.
right? So you're not thinking of them as an enemy, but you've done something, they didn't like it, now they think of you as an enemy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what's the question?
So question is, here we were just reading, may I be protector for those without one, may I be a bridge, a boat, and a ship, right?
Okay.
So I'm just wishing that he could be healed out of it, but I cannot do anything because I'm not aware of it.
Yes.
So is there something that could be done that physically, like I can make something so that he gets rid of all those unhappiness?
Okay. Yes, okay.
Although I'm not aware of the situation.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So, the other level, we need to become intelligent about, okay, is, see, there's the aspirations that we have, you know, as aspiring bodhisattvas, and then there's the actual, you know, conduct that we do. Okay? What's that? Okay. Well, actually, what looks better? Maybe I'll be like, or maybe it should be like. Okay. So there's the aspirations we have, and then there's the conduct we do, right? So for aspirations, we be just like Shantideva, you know, vast aspirations. Okay. Doing some things actually, you know, as Nalanda says in one text he wrote, the Golden Rosary, you know, bodhisattvas even have many aspirations that are impossible. You know, like Shantideva is saying here, you know, may all those who, you know, mock or criticize me, may that become the cause for them to be fully awakened. That's impossible. You don't become fully awakened by mocking and criticizing, harming someone. In fact, those are the causes for suffering, right? Right? So these aspirations, they're to benefit our mind, right? And that aspiration actually, oh, may all those who mock and criticize me, may that be the cause for them to be awakened. That in itself, if we keep bringing that aspiration to mind, that forms a very powerful, like prophylactic, right, preventative measure to become angry. You understand? Okay? So we keep bringing these very vast aspirations to mind again and again and again. That transforms the mind in and of itself. Okay? So that's aspiration, which is a form of mind training. Now, then we have our roommate, our friend, this person we've upset. Now, of course, if we don't know, what can we do about it? Nothing. Okay? But, see, in the Bodhisattva vows, if we do know that someone is angry at something we did, even if we didn't intend to harm them, then we should, of course, even in worldly matters, oh, hey, what happened? Oh, really? Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. Da, 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 da. And you try to resolve the conflict, right? So, and then by doing, you know, you listen to them, you understand their feelings, you then apologize, you know, try to make up, all these things. Understand? But, you know, of course, sometimes you can get an inkling, right? It means we can understand. You know, if it's our roommate or someone, then all of a sudden they're a bit cold to us, a bit distant, then we can understand and say, oh, hey, are you okay? Is something wrong? And try to engage with them, right? But if they're, you know, if it's totally hidden from us and we don't have clairvoyance to see, then of course we can't do anything, right? They can be like, oh hey, nothing's like, you know, everything's like before, but really they're holding some internal grudge. Then yes, I agree, we can't do anything. Does that help? Does that answer your question? And then of course I say, try to get clairvoyance so you can read everyone's mind. Read it. But until then, you know, we can only you know, do with what is manifest to us, right? Sorry. I'm just remembering some, unrealistic expectations of some people that used to be in my life, where I think they had a kind of expectation that I would be clairvoyant and understand that they were upset about something. And the fact that I didn't understand then became another problem. Anyway, don't be like that. Okay, so where are we? Man, we've only gone through one stanza. Okay. Okay. So, A, here, right? Cultivating the patience that accepts suffering. 1. Reflecting on the fact that contaminated phenomena are not beyond being of the nature of suffering. So, stanza 12. The causes of happiness sometimes occur, but the causes for suffering are frequent. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now, of the general strategies that we're going to use to combat anger, okay, we have to keep in mind that anger is a distorted view of reality, and in that distorted view, we're seeing. Remember, we get angry when we have mental unhappiness. We have mental unhappiness when we encounter someone we do not like, or we, don't get what we like. Okay? Now, how then it manifests is, we have the enemy, that's the one who does something we don't like or prevents something that we do like from happening, yes? And then we put all the blame on him or her. Right? Okay. But actually, it's not in that way. It's not that way. The mind of anger wants to associate or put 100% of the blame on this other person that we then label enemy. Okay? But actually, if we dig deeper, the fact that we're experiencing this undesirable thing has many causes and conditions. Okay? And the primary cause and condition actually is what? Yes. Karma. Our own karma. Remember, everything that we experience is the ripening effect of actions that we ourselves have performed in the past. You understand? So, the causes of happiness sometimes occur and the causes of suffering are frequent. Why? Because we're still in samsara. Okay? So as long as we're in samsara, as long as we have this type of body and mind that is projected by previous karma and afflictions, we're going to experience one type of suffering or another. And then when we look in the, 6 types of suffering, a few types of suffering, 8 types of suffering, then explicitly it's there. One of the sufferings of samsara is meeting with things you don't want, being separated from things you do want. Right? So why? Not because there's an enemy, but because we're still in samsara.
We've already been programmed by that. In our place, we have to reprogram it.
Program. Hold on a second. I'm not sure I would choose that word. It's like this, you know? What is it like? You know. Hey. Okay. What is it like? Okay. You see, when we go and blame the enemy about something undesirable that's happening to us, that's not going deep enough. Okay? Why do we suffer? Because we're in samsara. That's it. So, as long as we're in samsara, we're going to experience one unsatisfactory experience or another. Now, I don't know what exactly it means to be programmed. That has a different connotation in my mind. So, I'm going to not use that word, but I'm going to say, you know, it's the nature of this type of unenlightened samsaric existence that we experience one type of unsatisfactory experience or another. This enemy, or this person that provoked us, is a kind of proximate cause for that to happen, but not the root cause. You understand? The root is our own karma, our own afflictions. Okay? All right. Okay. Sadhana is not yet... what? Huh? Is the light on? What?
It's ready, Venerable.
I'm hearing these like riddles, you know? Like in a spy movie. When the light comes on, you know, then the snacks are ready. Okay. Okay? Alright. Alright. So here again, cultivating the patience that accepts suffering. Okay? So one is, right, when we understand the nature of samsara is to experience suffering, then it's like, well, we have to accept. You know? Reminds me of a story. Of one story, and then we'll have snacks. I was flying to Bodhgaya, you know, for the Dalai Lama's teachings. And in Delhi airport, okay, I got bumped from my flight. You understand? Hello? Bumped from my flight. Yes? So, the kind customer service representative at, yeah, I'll call them out. It's Air India. Right? You know, there I am. I have reservation. Say, sorry, sir. No more, you know, no seat. We'll put you on the next flight. Which, of course, is like, you know, hours away. I'll get there, you know, too late. I'll miss the registration for the teaching. And I'll miss the first day of the teaching. So, you know, as a good, you know, we learned this in America, right? Let me speak to your manager, you know? And this is how we learn, right? This is unacceptable, right? That's how you get things done, okay? The customer's always right. Well, that's what we say in the US, right? So I say, this is unacceptable. Then he says, but sir, you must accept. And suddenly it's like, wow. It's really amazing, actually. Really amazing. You understand? There's no more seats on the plane. No, really. There's no more seats on the plane. So, sir, you must accept. You never hear that from you know, a U.S. customer service representative. No way. But here, very, very profound. He didn't mean to give me a profound Dharma teaching, I'm sure. But yet, really good. Then, you know, what to do? That's the thing, right? Remember, Shantideva was saying, if there's nothing you can do about it, why get upset? If there's something you can do about it, why get upset? Okay? So now it became clear, there's nothing to do. So they gave me a 300 rupee voucher for breakfast that was only redeemable at the one restaurant, like, you know, some kind of Indian restaurant upstairs. And by the way, I was not in a great mood because I just got food poisoning in Delhi. I was like, you know, lied up in bed. I finally get there. I miss, you know, get canceled for my flight. I go to the place where they give me the free breakfast, and it's like, you know, masala this, masala that. You know. So I accepted. And I went to the McDonald's and I got hotcakes. So now what do we have? Hotcakes? Huh? No, not any cake. Hotcakes means pancakes.
Oh.
Now I'm hungry. So, you know, why I'm telling this story, you know, it's a bit interesting. Because they say, you know, they would tell us this. And if you guys, if you ever deal with like a American customer service representative, you get a bit upset like this, you get stuff. In the US, you get bumped from a flight, they give you like, $500 gift voucher, they put you in first class the next day, they roll out the red carpets for you, So part of me also is like, okay, if I'm going to get bumped out of this flight, let me see how much I can get out of this situation. 300 rupee travel voucher, it's like, But I guess what I'm saying, the overall big picture, you must accept. And sometimes, see, I think we were talking about this the other day, right? In the moment, right? We have to sometimes accept suffering because there's no other choice. But in the bigger picture, we don't accept suffering. Means we aspire for liberation. Means we undertake these practices to transform our mind so we can get out of samsara. Shantideva will say something like this in the future, right? So, normally, we have, okay, we should be patient for our enemy. But Shantideva says, when it comes to the real enemy, that of our afflictions, we're not patient. Means we don't have tolerance for that. We have zero tolerance policy for them. Means we want to eradicate them as soon as possible. Well, as soon as possible means after snacks. Right? Shantideva talk like that? I will never bow down to these disturbing conceptions. But first I'm going to have tea and a samosa. What? Shantideva talks like that? Oh, sadhana is talking like that. Okay, so we'll have a break and let's all look at the clock in the back. Okay? 12 o'clock. Well look, you can't see me, it's behind the tanka. I'm actually giving you an 18-minute break. But what that means, not 18 minutes I come and I have to do this and be like, a school teacher. But in 18 minutes you're there, sitting. My 5th grade teacher, Mr. Luckenbach. Then, 5th grade. So then, say, every morning, good morning, boys and girls. Okay? And then our answer was, good morning, Mr. Luckenbach. We're all in our places with bright smiling faces. Understand? So, 12 o'clock. You're all in your places bright smiling. Because I'll tell you, not you guys, you're new. These other ones, I'm not going to mention any names. I say 15-minute break. Then, it's like, I'm like a shepherd. I have to, get my sheep. Where are my students? Okay, so look, 12 o'clock.